that time again, 2 o'clock, and you're listening to the Sports Minion Radio Show on Facebook Live and www.letgoradio.net. I'm your host, DJ, and this is my co-host,
the one you really tuned in for.
Oh my God, it's Chuck, and we're here to deliver the sports news the most entertaining way we can.
What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with the roll away. It's live, and it's that time again, Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Got choked up. Sports Minion Radio Show. One half of us with you today. Unfortunately, Chuck is not able to be here. He is down and out with a bad migraine, so well wishes to him, and I hope he does well. Hope everybody is doing well. He will be back next week, hopefully. But for Chuck to be down, it's got to be an issue going on. But he is going to get back in. We just got an upcoming sports score right now, actually coming in via Skype, and our backup singer engineer, Rangers versus Pirates, 2-2 at the bottom of the fourth. So there's a good game going on in the MLB right now. Tune into it if y'all want to watch. It's going to be a good one. Got a lot of things to go over and a lot of things to cover, so we are going to go through. Hey, Elizabeth, thank you for joining us on the Sports Minion Radio Show. We appreciate it. A couple of things to cover. We're going to talk about July 14th is the launch of Kelly's Choice Cares, and that is the luncheon at the radio station. That's going to be from 4 to 7. And again, that is the launch of Kelly's Choice Cares. So we look forward to having you guys there on that. Also, November 16th is the Kelly's Choice Cares Gala Ball, and that's going to be at 6801 Bridgeway Drive, Suffolk, Virginia, 23435. That is 4 p.m. until 7, possibly 8, could run just a little bit long. So we want you to get your formal attire, get your hair cut, get your teeth brushed, wear your tie, put your suit on, because you know you want to look as good as you want to look for the Gala Ball, and the all the nominees are going to be receiving their awards. I'm going to be speaking there, possibly a breaking demonstration. Going to be excited about that. I do have a couple of other things to announce, and I just want to get through these. We'll get into sports in just a second, I promise you guys. And we've got some questions that came in also from some email fans of the Sports Minion Radio Show, so I want to be sure to thank those guys too. Tiger Martial Arts is actually having their summer camp for ages, it would be 5 to 13 years old, and that is going to start June the 17th through August the 23rd. The time frame is from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. That includes one self-defense class a day, field trips. They get a chance to interact with other students. For more information on pricing and everything on that, you can call Tiger Martial Arts at 757-488-3882. Again, that number is 757-488-3882. Call Tiger Martial Arts and find out about their great summer camp program. They've had it for several years. It does really well. All kids are responsible for are, of course, the bringing their own lunch, and everything else is going to be a blast of fun. So go out there and check it out. But now, upcoming June 1st, it is the Battle of the Seven Cities, presented by Grandmaster and multi-time world champion Jack Dart. It is the 16th annual Battle of the Seven Cities Martial Arts Championship, being held Saturday, June 1st, 2019, at St. Patrick's Catholic School Gymnasium, 1000 Bowling Avenue, Norfolk, Virginia, 23508. Be aware of towing if you're parking in the neighborhood. Only 30 minutes from the beach and the ocean front. No defending grand champions this year. Men's grand champion will be point sparring division, $400 in a belt. Women's grand champion, point sparring division, $400 in a belt. Weapons versus empty hand, $300 in a belt. All competitors must have their gear in full. It is going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. You guys want to get there early because it's going to fill up fast. Let me tell you, you want to get there at 10 o'clock sharp is when the tournament is going to begin. I believe that's also the black belt meeting from 10 to 10:30. You guys want to come out there and check it out. Battle of the Seven Cities. I have competed in this tournament for This is my 9th now, and I'll tell you one thing. This is the tournament that I always compete in every year. Great tournament, a lot of fun, and you don't know what Master Jack Dart is going to wear, but you know he's going to look oh so good, as only Grandmaster Jack Dart can do. All right, let's get into some sports real quick. I do want to cover this because I just think it's totally awesome. I got a baseball story for you guys, and Pablo Sandoval. All right, now this is really cool. I wanted to mention this. He accomplished a rare feat on Monday. The San Francisco Giants' third baseman became the first player since 1905 to hit a home run, steal a base, and pitch a scoreless inning, all in the same game. Sandoval did so in a 12-4 loss against the Cincinnati Reds. Now, here's the thing, guys, I want to talk about. For a baseball player to accomplish, now this is a third baseman. So what's up, Curtis? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Glad to have you here. I got to say, for a third baseman to pitch a scoreless inning, to hit a home run, and steal a base, it's been the first time this has been done since 1905. That right there is a record by itself. So great job to him. That's a feat. Things like that, are in the record books. It's never forgotten. It's great to have. I got to tell you, it's an awesome piece of information. I wanted to read about that and talk about it because baseball, you think about the cycle. You've got the single, the double, the triple, and the home run. And that has rarely been done in itself. But to have the cycle go off, and now you've got something like this. For a third baseman now, who's not normally a pitcher, to pitch a scoreless inning, to hit a home run, and to steal a base. A broken record there. First time it's been done since 1905. Awesome job, Sandoval there. I do want to tell you, again, guys, Chuck unfortunately isn't with us today. He's down with a migraine. He will be back next week. But the Sports Minion's got you covered. It's okay. We're going to just roll with it. See what I did there? Kind of that segue. You like that? All right. Just want to throw that out there. All right. A couple of things I want to jump over to. I've actually got a football story for you guys. And this one kind of scared me because as I was looking at it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul suffered a fractured neck in a car accident last week that could prevent him from playing in the 2019 season this year, was told by Adam Schefter of ESPN. The thing about this is Pierre-Paul, he saw a specialist last week to see if it was possible that he could play in the upcoming season, though it is believed he will likely need surgery from a city source there, a procedure that would come with a 5 to 6 month recovery timetable. And then again, that's Tom Pelissero there. So it's really unknown, whether he's going to play or even, be able to play this season. But our prayers and well wishes out to Pierre-Paul, and hopefully he gets better and can get going on. Speaking of injuries, what I've seen, and I've seen this a lot in baseball, I was looking at, the Washington Nationals to jump around a little bit. And they almost have been hit by a pitcher in every other game. Now, I don't know if this is something that has just started happening, we've got a little bit of the injury bug, but you got to figure, we've got 3 pitchers that are out. Rosenthal is out. Our Trey Turner is out with the fractured finger. He should be, back in today or the next day. He's been on the 10-day DL. I know, Michael A. Taylor rotated his wrist and did that pretty badly. That actually happened to 2 different players. Gomes got hurt. He got taken out. The back catcher got taken out. Kurt Suzuki had to come in and back up. So, what is happening, the bench was so short for players to come in and relieve that players are having to pull double duty. And really, I think a lot of this is about, it's not necessarily conditioning. This is just you don't look at injuries in baseball as, one after the other. But this is apparently happening quite a bit. Guys, if anybody wants to call in and check us out, you can call in and talk to the Sports Minion at 757-774-7552. We would love to have you on the Sports Minion Radio Show. Ask any question you want. Just keep it clean. Stay away from religion and politics, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to call that one as we see it. Basically, I mean, as far as going back into baseball, you look at a team that is struggling because the Nationals lost again last night. Steven Strasburg pitched one heck of a game. It was 0-0 until the 7th inning, the bottom of the 7th inning, when the Brewers got 6 runs. And, I mean, it was just like Strasburg goes out of the game, the backup pitcher comes in, 1, 2, 3 at 6-0, and you look at a game like that and you go, how does this happen? Is it bad management? Is it, Davey Martinez? I think there's a lot of combination in this. In a situation like this, you've got, the bullpen has to be able to come in and do its job. When you hold a team to 7 scoreless innings, and you pitch the shutout performance that Steven Strasburg pitched, because we've got a heck of a pitching staff in Scherzer, in Strasburg, Corbin, Doolittle as our closer. I mean, you've got several, and Sip is in there at the bullpen. You've got, several others. It's just, when you're struggling, you have to find something. And it's amazing that Bob and FP were talking about this. Bob Carpenter and FP Santangelo were talking about this last night. Is just getting a basic spark to go in there and get the team moving. And then what happens when you take the lead, especially in a 3-2 game, when you've got a man on first and third, you've got to look at where your positions are and realize that you got to throw home as soon as you catch that ball, because if you don't, it's over. And that's basically going to give you, the tying run coming in and the go-ahead run on base. You've got to know, turn and throw right to home plate. The throws to home plate have been off. Little bloopers that I know Carter Keyboom is in left field right now because Adam Eaton got hurt for a little bit. He came back. Their normal left fielder has been out for a while. So, for these guys to come in off the bench, I know they take practice every day, but they have got to execute better. You can't blame but so much on management when management is doing all they can to keep players on the field. Even in the NFL, looking at the Redskins or the Patriots or the Ravens, when you've got injuries, it's the next man up mentality. And I think in baseball as well, you've got to have that. As far as, that's the considerate, part of it. You don't look at, okay, we've got an injury. I don't think it's seen as, teams don't feel sorry for you because you've got 22 injuries or 11 injuries or things like that. You've got to have the ability to run in there and do what you've got to do. The base running has got to be on point. And when the pitching is locked in, when your starting pitcher does the job, your bullpen has to come in and make it happen. From that 7th to 9th inning, when he gives you 6.5 to 7 good innings, your bullpen's got to come in and do the job. You cannot blow a game. Right now, they are looking, I believe they're 14-21. They lost again last night. I know they're actually they played today, and I can pull that up for you in just a moment. I want to get through some other stories here. We've got a couple of things about the Kentucky Derby that I want to pull out here just a minute. Actually, in Washington versus the Brewers, I just got it in here. It's 6-0, and I'm gonna tell you right now. Again, this is the same thing that happened last week. Washington and the Brewers 6-0, top of the third. So it's still early in the game. So we're taking a look at it, but we got to see. And again, I believe Corbin is starting there on the starting pitcher. I'll get that for you in just a minute as well. But as far as that goes, you've got to come in and you've got to stay strong. to see where you're at. And I know that that's, it's easier said than done because anything can happen on 1 or 2 hits. But let me get this out on the Kentucky Derby here real quick. This was kind of a shocker to me because I had never seen it. As far as an interference rule, but I do want to talk about the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Horse Racing Commission has denied an appeal filed on behalf of Gary and Mary West, the owners of the disqualified 2019 Kentucky Derby participant Maximum Security, according to the Associated Press via ESPN. In response to the filing by West's legal representatives, the CHRC reaffirmed that the race stewards discrimination aren't subject to appeal. Based on everything that has happened so far, I'm not surprised, Gary West said, of the rejected appeal. We will file suit whatever the whatever the appropriate court is. I don't know the answer to that, but the lawyers that I have retained will know what the appropriate value is. Despite finishing first in Saturday evening's big race of the objection review led to Maximum Security's disqualification after a sidewards determined the 3-year-old colt interfered in the path of its opponents. So basically, the number 2 was given the number 1, and I can see where interference would could, because you do have your own lane, and it's kind of you look like just in running, you can't get in the lane of the other competitor, or you can't bump into the other competitor to stop him. And I mean, that's something that is really, I love horse racing because I have seen it. Now I was there. I did watch the Kentucky Derby when Secretariat won, one of the fastest horses alive and most beautiful in my opinion. And it was just an amazing thing. He was a record-breaking horse, and it's an amazing race, and it's really tough because he did win, and it was a good race. But that little, you get in there and get interference, that's going to be as far. They have to make the right call, and the judgment's a judgment. And we talked about this a little bit before. Everybody is trying to make their case known, and whether it's through lawyers or courthouses. Look, it happened, and I think you've got to basically suck it up and go with it and understand that you can't interfere. It is what it is. You lost. It was a great race. Better luck next year. So I will say that right there, and I think he's handling it well. I'm not, this again is going from, you're looking at what we've got, is, oh, I think I won. No, I think I won. Well, the problem is you bump into somebody like that and cause interference, and that's what's going to happen. I mean, you're going to go there and see exactly where you are. You've got to take the consequences as they come. Horse racing is fast paced. Luckily the jockey stayed on the back of the horse. It could have been much worse. That interference in a horse race when a horse is running that fast can cause a lot of problems. I did too, Elizabeth. He was my favorite horse, and I actually saw the documentary on him. And one of my karate instructors, Clifton Whitaker, loved Secretariat, and his heart was so big. That's why he was so fast. I believe it was 2 times the normal size, or possibly 3 times there. I have to go back and look at that. But he was a great horse, and it was a beautiful story, really. I want to jump around again and just talk about a couple of things here. Hey, Moose, glad to have you with us, brother. Thank you for joining us on the Sports Minion Radio Show. Glad to have you. If you guys want to call in and talk about any of this that we're talking about right now, again, 757-774-7552. Give the Sports Minion a car. Give the Sports Minion a car. That's exactly what he needs. Yeah, words are hard in Chuck's defense there, as he would say. Or love me, as my lovely co-host and sidekick would say there. But I mean, as far as a couple of things here, I do want to mention, and again, this one surprised me. Talking about Josh Dotson, the Redskins did not pick up Josh Dotson's fifth-year option. There were several other players that were not signed in, or the fifth-year option was not taken. The Oakland Raiders safety Carl Joseph and Washington Redskins Josh Dotson were among 12 first-round picks. Now, here we go, talking about first-round picks from the 2016 draft to have their fifth-year options declined. The deadline was Friday to pick up the options of the former first-round picks for the 2020 season. Those who had theirs rejected, will become free agents as of following the 2019 season campaign. So the others that were not taken, okay? Jack Conklin, the offensive tackle of the Titans. Eli Apple, the cornerback, okay, of the Saints, drafted by the Giants. Carl Joseph, the safety of the Raiders. Shaq Lawson, defensive end of the Bills. Darren Lee, linebacker of the Jets. Josh Dotson, wide receiver of the Redskins, just like I just said there. Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver of the Vikings. Artie Burns, cornerback of the Steelers. Joshua Garrett, guard of the 49ers. Robert Nickermayan, the defensive tackle of the defensive tackle of the Cardinals. Vernon Butler, the defensive tackle of the Panthers. And Garmin Ifedi, offensive tackle of the Seahawks. Now, the three names that really jump out at me here, just to talk about this, would be one, Eli Apple. Treadwell would be the other one. And then also looking at Carl Joseph. Now, here's the thing. I know that production is part of this. I understand that a lot of it has to do with production. And I can understand that if you don't perform, you're not going to get that fifth-year option, and they're probably going to part ways. But as far as, looking at defense, the big names, if you don't shine within your first or second year, if you don't shine and you don't make something happen, this being Dotson's fourth year, and I'm going to talk a little bit about him. When the Redskins drafted him in 2016, he was brought in to be that big vertical threat and the big jump ball guy, because he was tall as far as being able to catch the ball, and he hasn't performed to pancake mix as far as I'm concerned. He's done okay. He's done some middle to moderate stuff. But middle to moderate to me doesn't get it done in the NFL. It doesn't get it done in the sense that people are either going to get it done or they're basically not. So looking at where you are, if you are not performing by your second or third year, I can definitely say that you're most likely not going to get that fifth-year option. Now, being that this is his fourth year and Dotson comes out, if he has a blow-up year, and it's, to me, it's not about just yardage. It's offensive production. It's about touchdowns. It's about key catches for first downs. If you're doing that, the 12 to 1,500 yards will come. I think that's going to be, part of that anyway, because if you're doing what you're supposed to do and you go where you're supposed to go and you're the type of player that they drafted you to be, you're going to be the guy they want and you're going to produce. If you don't produce, you're gone. I want to cover one other thing real quick, and I'll get back to that in just a second. There was an issue with Nick Bosa, and I believe it was his Instagram account, and I want to mention this because this bothered me. Nick Bosa had an Instagram dealing with, African Americans in the NFL. And I love what Richard Sherman says. Richard Sherman, and I don't have the exact quote, but so I'm paraphrasing here. In the end, you know, racism in this world is everywhere. It happens every day, and it needs to stop. If people can see people for who they are and what they are, not black, white, green, purple, I don't care about any of that. If you can play, shut up and play, do your job, play the game, stop making stupid remarks. Everything is going to work out. You don't have to like everybody, but you got to get along, because if you want to win a championship in the NFL and you've got diversion on your team, whether you're the quarterback, cornerback, offensive guard, offensive lineman, it doesn't matter what you call. If you've got controversy on your team and bringing it into San Francisco is not the way to do it, you've got to be able to play the game. And Joey Bosa can play the game. I'm telling you, he is a fantastic player. And I think NFL Network said it best. There were a couple things, you know, going into this. He's a young guy. Young people are going to make mistakes. People say things they don't often mean. They do things they don't often do. When you are in the NFL, when you are in the MLB, when you are in the NBA, when you are playing hockey, when you are playing a major sport, whether you're playing golf, whether you're Tiger Woods, whether you are Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. Yeah, you're daggone right. I said it. Deal with it. Yes, I'm a Redskin fan. Yes, I went there. If you are any player in the NFL or any sport for that matter that is covered worldwide by a national TV station or by any station at all, you are going to be under the microscope. Everything you do and say is going to get scrutinized. Everything you post is going to get scrutinized because people are looking for controversy. Everything that you are can cause controversy. Controversy makes for a great show. That's one of the reasons why Chuck has been on this show for 13 weeks now, and that's one of the things he does. Everybody may not like what he says, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. I haven't forgotten about it. I'm saving that segment for last. I have to say, don't just, you've got to play the game. Chuck and I have said that so many times. People make so many mistakes. I don't care what sport it is. You have to play the game professionally, because when you are at the NBA, NHL, NFL, AAF, Canadian Football League, doesn't matter where you are deemed as a professional athlete. And to make it to that level, to be at that level, you have to be a professional. And if you are not, you are going to get scrutinized and you are going to get bombed. And believe it or not, that can follow you around for your entire career. And the problem with that is you can be presumed as a racist for saying the wrong thing. And if that follows you around, it is very, very difficult to get rid of it, because you have to own up to the mistake you make, number one. You have to want to change, and you have to see people differently. I have learned, even in working with my brother, as a pain in the butt as my brother is, I love my brother to death, because all areas of life are not, Blake, I can't comment on that. I'm going to keep it clean, because we are live on the air and on Let Go Radio. So thank you for that lovely comment. But I'm not going to go there. As happy as I am to have you on the Sports Minion Radio Show, thank you, Blake, for your lovely comment. Please don't do that again. Wow. Whoa. All right. Moving on. But honestly, I think, the controversy going back is you've got to do what you say you're going to do. Play the game. Leave everything else off the field. And Sherman said, look, it's not like you can't play. As long as you can play and do what you said you're going to do, everything is going to be fine. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing, so I'm not going to sit there and and quote it word for word, but I'm going to also, be honest. Racism bothers me because it's the same. I have grown up around African Americans my whole life. I don't see anyone as African American. I don't see anyone as white. I don't see anyone as Asian. I see people as people. It doesn't matter what accent you have. It doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't matter what nationality you are, because you've got to look at a person in three things. Everyone has a heart that beats. Everyone has a soul inside, and everyone has feelings. Whether or not they show them, whether they shut them off, whether, as my brother would say, he's always right, he's not. That's okay. I understand that. I have never known my brother or anyone in my family to be any way racist, in any shape or form. People, this world was based on a melting pot of people. And if we can kind of take a step back and realize that people are what they are, not by the color of their skin, but by the definition of their character, just like Dr. King said, you've got to know that it's not about black and white. It's not about anything like that. Because the people in this world that make this world go round, I've often heard it said that money makes the world go round. But to be honest, without the people in this world, that money doesn't exist, because the people make the money. Now, I don't like everybody, but I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, if I can get my words out here, to, until they give me a reason not to. But even if they give me a reason not to, you still have to look upon the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the amazing thing to me is that we all jump toward that race card so fast. When a situation hits, I don't care who did it, own up to it, and take it like a man or woman, and do what you're supposed to do. That's what makes this world better. If you own up to the situation and you take a step back and take a breath, you ain't even got to play the race card. We all bleed the same color. We all bleed the same color. Whether we realize it or not as a people, if we can stop the racism and start looking at ourselves as a people and what we see inside, that would make this world a better place. And I wanted to comment on that before I get to my fan questions, because I got a lot of fan questions that came in this week, and I want to cover that. But I think we as a people need to learn to grow up and be mature about who we see and what we see, because different nationalities and different races can teach you a lot. Can teach you a lot. And it's not just about the color of their skin, but it is about the creed and definition of their character. And I believe, as a person, that you should treat everyone equally. Men, women, children, disabled, non-disabled. Discrimination happens everywhere. But the main reason for that is because we're so busy looking at what a person can't do that we've gone on and said, and Blake, as simple as that comment is, I love you no matter what color you are, unless you're polka dotted. That's just weird. I understand. I understand. But I wish people could have that frame of mind. And I wasn't going to do this, but you know what? It's my show. I'm going to. I look at being disabled, and I've said this before, as a blessing. And the reason I look at that way is because when people talk to me, a lot of times they have to come down to my level. They have to stop. They have to slow down. And when they hear me talk, I've gotten the look of, oh my gosh, you're in a chair, but you're intelligent. There are people that are so intelligent, even that I met at this past Cerebral Palsy conference, that Kelly's Choice presented, that were amazing. Christian was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Tony was amazing. No matter the disability that they had, no matter the obstacles that they faced, no matter what they went through, they were people. And as long as you're treated like a person, no matter what you suffer from or no matter what you look like, you can still be a person. I believe that there was a lady there, and I told her, I believe it was Alexa, or Alexis, I believe. I told her she could run for the president of the United States because in the way I heard her speak and the way she read her poem, to me, it was powerful because a lot of people will say something, but they don't believe in what they say. The people at Kelly's Choice and the people at Kelly's Choice Cares, which is soon to be, believe in who they are, what they say, and what they do. And I think that in itself will make this world go round. Hey, Miss Edwina, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. I know for a fact that life is going to throw you curveballs, and that happens. That happens. And yes, this is a sports show, but we're digging into an issue here that's a little bit, in my opinion, more important than a sports story. And I covered a lot of sports at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to get back into that in just a minute. But part of the problem with people being closed-minded and not looking at a person as they are, it makes them, they don't get the benefit of hearing from that person and really understanding that person, because a lot of times they are scared of what they don't understand. And I will say this, I have been listening to people with cerebral palsy my whole life. And some of them are hard to understand. But if you take the time to listen to Taylor is another one, and she made me cry, I'll be honest. Taylor, I've been told my whole life by a lot of people that I'm an inspiration. Let me just say this on my show right here, right now, live on Let Go Radio. Taylor is an inspiration to me. I cannot tell you, after hearing her story, and I get emotional about this because I struggle with the same thing. So to see it and to see her push through it, it's a godsend. Because I look at, cerebral palsy, it's hard enough. You're looked at as being different. You're looked at as being, you can't, you won't. And again, Christian, I mentioned him. His story was amazing, but I want to get back to Taylor just for a second. In listening to Taylor, she wants to walk, okay, and to see her stand up for 30 seconds on her own because her therapist told her not to be afraid, and she admitted that she was afraid first and then pushed through that. Do you know how many people could succeed in life if they could push through fear? Do you know how many people in this world could make it if they could push through fear? Because, Blake, again, you hit it right on the head. I agree with that too. And I will cover that. But I want to say this. if you have a goal in your mind, if you have something in your mind that you want to do, I got to tell you, the motivation that she showed and the motivation that other people could show because they've been told that they couldn't or they won't will succeed if they can just stop worrying about what people tell them and do what they know. And now we got Miss Winnie up here too, and I got to tell you, I've said this before, Winnie and Corey and everyone within Kelly's Choice Cares once that launches, and I'm going with Kelly's Choice Cares from now on because that's what it's going to be. They believe in people and they support people that believe in what they believe in, and they support the ones who are scared and don't know if they have a way. And I've said this. Oh, what a great quote, Blake. Let me say this real quick. The Bible says 365 times, do not fear. Oh, man. Oh, wow. The Bible says 365 times, do not fear. That's one for every day. What a true statement that is. Man, Blake, did you hit that? Holy smokes. All right, so let me address a couple of these fan questions because I'm starting to go a little bit and I ain't preaching up in here because you know it can get a little rough. Y'all got to bear with me. I get fired up. I can't help it. There's a fan question there, and it comes from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Kelsey Burden. I hope I'm saying that last name right. DJ, I listened to the show the week before. I listened to the show the week before last. Forgive me, I'm reading here. I listened to the show the week before last. Were you offended by what your brother said? I don't believe he was right. I believe that it's a person's choice to fight you head on in a tournament. I believe that that person knows up front what they're doing. They know up front who is in the tournament, and that you should be able to compete no matter the cost. Your victories are not tainted. They are special because you work hard and you train every day just like your opponent. The winner and the winner is the winner, and the loser will learn from it. Katie Burden, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Katie, sweetheart, let me tell you something. I was not offended by what my brother said at all because I'm used to it. My brother has always had the opinion that he is always right, and he shares that. And sometimes it can seem that he is going overboard to a lot of other people. But as I told him, there's going to be a lot of controversy when someone says something that you don't agree with. I talked to 7 instructors, including 3 multi-time world champions, including my instructor, to get their opinions on it. And one of the things that was said, and I want to say this to kind of clear the air a little bit, Chuck had stated that 90% of people are going to hold back on me because they fear fighting the kid in the chair, and it's not right to society to beat the kid up in the chair. Now, let me address these 2 issues separately. Number one, what is society defined as? Okay, you have to look at that. You have to look at what society is defined as, and how does Chuck determine that definition of society? The other thing is, he said 90% of people. Okay, you cannot throw out a number, and Blake and I just talked about this last night, so I'm glad he's here. You cannot just throw out a number without the data to back it up. Did Chuck go out and talk to 100 people and 90% of them say they would hold back against me? No. Okay? That's his opinion. And he did state in the show, in his defense, that this is his opinion. So I want to make sure to state that so that it can be said. Am I mad at him? No, I am not. I am not mad at my brother at all, because some people are not going to see what my brother did or said as uplifting. Okay? But for all the things that my brother doesn't agree with, which is not a lot, my brother, he will voice his opinion strongly because he believes in who he is and what he is. Now, sometimes it can seem like it's dominant, and there was a little bit more in that email that I chose not to read because that was, her opinion, and I really didn't want to spar up too much of a debate. But in the same sense, I do love my brother, and I do believe in my brother, but my brother doesn't know everything, and that's okay. That's okay. Miss Winnie has said it 100 times. They brothers, y'all. Brothers fight. We don't have to agree with each other all the time, okay? But now, you step across that line and you disrespect me, the first person that's going to be standing there? Brother Palsy. You step across that line and you hurt my family, you know who the first person going to be standing there? Brother Palsy. And that I will say 100% because he's family. He's family. Let me read this by Miss Winnie. Oh man, I did a few interviews on Saturday, quite a few. Grandmasters from all over, gathering of styles in Virginia Beach and the oceanfront, and every last one of them spoke on inclusion in martial arts. Oh, Miss Winnie, she grabbed the bat, she saw the ball, and it's out of here for a home run. Go ahead, Miss Winnie. Boom, just nailed the ball right out of the park. And I want to get this last email in here. Man, this time went fast. Great day in the morning. Y'all bear with me. And Miss Winnie, I think you're going to like this. This is from Bill Joseph. And this one does not say where he's from. All right, Bill Joseph says, hi, my name is Bill. I've had CP. I'm 38 years old, and I have always dreamed of competing in martial arts. But I don't, because I fear of how my spasticity will look to other people. I am very tight and spastic in my arms and legs, but I have always dreamed of being a champion. What advice do you have to not look so spastic? And what can you do to overcome it? Whew. Bill, what a question. Let me first off start by saying this. You are a champion right now. Because number one, you just wrote in to this show and you asked that question. Good point, Elizabeth. Is there going to be an interview on that? Maybe that's something we can do later on. That's a good question, Elizabeth. Let me go back to Bill real quick. I want to say you're a champion because the first thing that you want to do is look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're okay. Realize that you're all right. You are a champion. God does not create mistakes. He creates miracles. If you want to train, if you truly want to be a champion, and you truly are dedicated and want to be dedicated in martial arts, this has to be your choice. Do not let fear push you back because you're afraid of how you look. Because I'm going to tell you something that you may not have thought about, or you may have. How you look, you can use to your advantage. You have to turn your disadvantage into an advantage, and that's something they're not going to be ready for. when I walked through the doors, and I said walk, when I rolled through the doors 10 years ago at Tiger Martial Arts, I was scared to death. Scared to death. Because I didn't know what to expect. If you are truly interested in martial arts and you are truly interested in being a champion and you want to train and you want to put the effort in, because it's not easy. It's not easy. You have to stretch, therapy, there are medications, there are plenty of things to look up around the world. There are doctors that can help. There are instructors. Jack Dart is one. Willie Hunter is one. Jeff Hunter is one. Jeff Denmark is another one. I can list them all day long. There are senseis and shihans that will work with you. I do have one more email, but I want to say this. Bill, keep working at it. Most of all, pray about it. Pray about it. And don't worry about, you know, I can tell you right now that if you want it bad enough and you believe in it, you can do it. Last email I want to read, and this is from Ben Taylor in Iowa. Wow, Iowa. Ben Taylor. Hi, my name is Ben Taylor. I am 19 years old. I suffer from spina bifida. I can walk. Are there handicap divisions in martial arts? Man, have we got some good questions. Holy smokes. Oh, my gracious. All right. Let me cover this one real quick. I just got another thumb up from my engineer here. I tell you, they're coming in from everywhere on Let Go Radio and Facebook Live. Man, we got a good show going today. Are there handicap divisions in sparring tournaments? Yes. Yes, there are. I have seen a few. Every chance that Grandmaster Dart gets, he sends me videos of different divisions, of handicap divisions, of wheelchair divisions. Now, are they in the area? I have not seen a lot in the area, but that could change because if more people show interest, and this is also something Chuck says, and he said in the show the week before last, there should be more disabled divisions or wheelchair divisions because that way it's fairness all the way around. And I believe that is true, that so many people are worried about the physicalness of what's going to happen. The only way, and I'm not going to go into this too much, but I do want to say this because I'm saving this for the Gala Ball. The only way to conquer fear is to break through the obstacle you're facing. And that's easier said than done because of certain things that people will tell you. I don't have a specific number. Someone will tell you that you shouldn't because it's unfair. Some will tell you that you should. The option here for a wheelchair division, this gives people with disabilities more of a fairness than they realize because they're able to compete with people that have some of the same conditions that they have. Now, on the other side of this, as we close out, we got about 6 minutes left. I want to say this. It is time for a change. Miss Winnie, I'm going to tell you what. Maybe Miss Winnie should run for president. Can we nominate that? I'm serious. I'll be on the cabinet. I know Mr. Wilson will be up there too. I ain't trying to get in the way right now, but I got to tell you, can Miss Winnie run? You got my vote. Goodness gracious. I believe that I do a tournament for 3 reasons. I do it to compete, and I do it to win. But here's the main reason that I do a tournament, folks, and I want you to listen real close. I do it to learn. Okay? All of the trophies that I have on this wall are not Grand Championship trophies. They're first place trophies in divisions. sometimes there are 8 to 12 divisions and more than that in a single tournament. And you got to remember, if you learn, that is itself a championship material. If you can take something away from that tournament and realize, and I've said this before too, that in a loss, you can learn more from a loss than you can from a win, because a loss is not necessarily a mistake. A loss is another chance to turn a negative into a positive. I think that if you believe that you want to do something and you can get something out of it, if you can get something positive out of it, whether it's because martial arts does so much more than just, kicking and fighting and winning tournaments. There's self-esteem, there's self-confidence, there's better grades in school, there's self-discipline, there's thinking better about yourself, there's working with others, teamwork, there's leadership building, there's running your own dojo, there's passing along knowledge. Excuse me, guys. There's passing along knowledge to be able to give something back to the people around you that have never had it. Last thing I want to mention, we are getting ready to do a martial arts seminar for Tiger Martial Arts. I've done these now. I believe this is my third martial arts seminar that I'm getting ready to do, third or fourth. I've lost count. We're getting ready to have the date specified on that. I'm actually going to talk to Mr. Hunter on Thursday. I know that's going to happen. I've got a big tournament on June 1st. I'm training. A lot of things are going on. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show today. And I want to thank everybody for man, I'm so glad. Thank you, Blake. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love everybody. And thank you guys for dealing with me today. Like I said, Chuck should be here next week. And we'll have a little bit more of the camaraderie. But thank you guys for dealing with it. Remember, we've got the Gala Ball coming up in November. Again, that's November the 16th. We've got the Kelly's Choice Cares launch and lunch coming up on July 14th. And that's from 4 to 7 at the radio station. You guys be ready. It's going to be great. And you know always what I say. Believe in yourself and each other. And if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We will see you next week. This is one half of the Sports Minion Radio Show for Let Go Radio and Facebook Live, saying, see you when I see you. That's how I roll. Peace!
Unfortunately, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Sports Minion Radio Show. Oh, you don't get to hear my voice anymore. Until next week at 2 o'clock on Facebook Live and www.letgoradio.net, where we once again will deliver the sports news the most entertaining way we can. We'll see you next time. Peace.